Good afternoon to all the NEET aspirants. So yes, we are here on live to discuss the questionnaire session again. Yes, today we are going to exercise the questions on the concepts chemiosmotic hypothesis, C3 cycle. Okay, from dark reactions we are going to exercise C3 cycle, and we are going to exercise questions on chemiosmotic hypothesis also, and we are also going to look into numerical based questions from C3 cycle. So in this, if we have to see, first let us look into assertion reason questions. First, here in photosynthesis, during ATP synthesis, protons accumulate in the lumen of the thylakoid. We have discussed it very clearly that protons accumulate in thylakoid's lumen. This we have discussed clearly, right? This accumulation of protons is because of what, beta? Photolysis of water. This is because of what? Photolysis of water. That protons get accumulated in thylakoid lumen. Second, in the reason you look into, in respiration during ATP synthesis, protons accumulate in the intermembrane space of mitochondria. So, if we have to look into the mitochondrial structure, yes. So, mitochondria, if we have to take this, let us suppose this is the outer mitochondrial membrane and inner mitochondrial membrane. So, when the four channels are operated, or we call it as four complexes, complex 1, complex 2, 3 and 4, which continuously pump the protons to the intermembrane space after oxidation, right. So, complete pump of protons into the intermembrane space, protons get accumulated in the intermembrane space. Both the statements are correct itself, no beta, that in thylakoid lumen protons get accumulated due to the photolysis of water, and in the intermembrane space in mitochondria the protons get accumulated because of what? Electron transport system. Clear, right? So now here what option we have to choose? Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. Okay, both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, but 2 is not explaining 1. Okay, both of them are two unique statements. This is not in the explanation of assertion. So this is what we have to choose. Next, you look into this question, again assertion and reason type. I have included most of assertion reason questions and statement based questions, keeping in mind of 2025 NEET paper. Okay, so let us exercise all the types of questions, beta, easy, moderate and difficult, but mostly let us look into the content which is actually needed for us, keeping in mind of 2025 paper. Okay, so here you look into again assertion reason question. 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 12 molecules of NADPH H+, 18 ATP are used to form one hexose molecule, let us say glucose. Correct, right? In reason, light reactions results in the formation of only ATP but not NADPH. Wrong, because non-cyclic photophosphorylation at the end of the Z scheme, or non-cyclic photophosphorylation, what is formed? NADPH is formed. So at the end of light reaction in assimilatory power, both ATP and NADPH are formed. So this will not go as correct statement. So here the correct statement will be assertion, not reason. So yes, the correct who is this? Swasti Singh. Good afternoon, ma. I didn't get your point. Shiva, yes, that is true answer, beta, that is option C. Assertion is true and reason is false. This you look into, ma. Yeah, choose the correct combination of labeling in Kelvin cycle. In Kelvin cycle, we have to look into the proper labelings. We all know Kelvin cycle or C3 cycle is operated in 3 steps. First is what? Carboxylation. Second will be reduction. Third will be regeneration. As such, you look into what is the first step. Most crucial step of Kelvin cycle is carboxylation. Okay, carboxylation is the most crucial step of Kelvin cycle. So here in carboxylation, when carbon dioxide is being entered into the stroma of the chloroplast, it is accepted by a 5-carbon compound, that is RUBP. RUBP, which is a 5-carbon compound. Clear? And this is modulated or catalyzed by the enzyme Rubisco, which is the world's abundant enzyme. We all know that. And in B, what is the primary product of Kelvin cycle? The primary product of Kelvin cycle is 3-phosphoglyceric acid. This 3-phosphoglyceric acid, after reduction, it gets converted to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Clear beta? From, let's suppose, from one carbon dioxide fixation and this 5-carbon RUBP, both together 6 carbon, right beta, and it is forming primary product as 3-phosphoglyceric acid, which is a 3-carbon compound. So, 2 molecules of 3-carbon compound are formed. These 2 molecules get reduced to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. From here, 1 carbon from each cycle will be escaping the Kelvin cycle to form the glucose chain. As such, 6 Kelvin cycles are required, 6 carbon dioxides are required for formation of 1 glucose. When 1 carbon is escaping from 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, rest 5 carbons are regenerated back to RUBP. So, in the reduction step beta, for 1 carbon dioxide, 2 ATP and 2 NADPH are required, right, which are produced from light reaction, and during regeneration step 1 ATP is required. So, on total 3 ATP and 2 NADPH are required. Clear ma? So, this is about Kelvin cycle. If the question sometimes is asked about the crucial step of Kelvin cycle, you have to choose carboxylation. If the question is about the most crucial step to continue the cycle uninterruptedly, then you have to choose the regeneration option. Clear ma? Yes, Shiva, the answer will be D, where A is RUBP, B will be phosphoglyceric acid, and C is triose phosphate, that is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Very good beta. I am explaining each and every concept in a gist, in a brief, so that we can answer quickly the coming questions on that concept. Okay? Yes. The carbon dioxide acceptor in Kelvin cycle, very simple question. What is the carbon dioxide acceptor? RUBP. If the question is the carbon dioxide acceptor in Kelvin cycle is catalyzed by or the primary catalytic enzyme, if this is the question, then you have to choose Rubisco. Clear ma? And a molecule of glucose is formed in Kelvin cycle. A molecule of glucose formed in Kelvin cycle from, we have discussed just now, 6 carbon dioxide are required, 6 Kelvin cycles need to happen, okay, for 1 glucose formation, because from each cycle only 1 carbon is escaping to form that glucose chain. We all know glucose chain is formed by 6 carbons, right? So, 6 carbons are required, though 6 carboxylations are required. 6 carboxylations, that is 6 carbon dioxide, 6 Kelvin cycles. For 1 carbon dioxide it is 3 ATP. So, for 6 carbon dioxide, 6 into 3 it is 18 ATP, and 6 into 2 that will be 12 NADPH. Clear Nana? Now look into the option properly. 6 carbon dioxide, 18 ATP and 12 NADPH. This goes correct. Okay. So, option B is the correct answer. Now, if you look into this, in C3 plants, very good Shiva, continue with the same flow. In C3 plants, first stable product of photosynthesis during dark reactions. First stable product, of course, it is phosphoglyceric acid, okay, PGA, 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde, sorry, okay. So, here you look into the next question. Which of the following statements about dark reaction is correct? So, the statement is asked about what? Dark reaction. Look into the statements properly. They occur in darkness? No, they don't occur in darkness. So, this will be wrong. They occur in light and during darkness. Okay, they don't just occur in darkness. They are light dependent Yes, they are light dependent but not directly. Next, they are dependent upon the products synthesized during the light reactions. This is the very accurate, correct statement. All of this doesn't go with this question. So, which of the following statements about dark reactions is correct? They are dependent upon the products synthesized by the light reaction. What are those products, beta? What are those products? ATP and NADPH. NADPH. We call it as assimilatory power. Assimilatory power. Clear? Next question you look into. Yes. In dark reactions, 6CO2 plus, we have to identify a 12 NADH will give rise to glucose water plus. How much of this? And 12 NADP plus. We have to identify A and B. So, this is about what? This is about when 12 NADPH is involved. This is definitely about what? Kelvin cycle. Okay, Kelvin cycle. When 12 NADPH are involved for one glucose molecule, it is 18 ATP and here it is 18 ADP. And here 18 inorganic phosphate is also there. So, when 18 inorganic phosphate is there in this reaction, then we have to go with this. Okay, if at all 30 inorganic phosphate is there, then it means that C4 cycle is operated. In that case, you have to choose 30 ATP and 30 ADP. Clear? So, here what option we have to choose, beta? 18 ATP over here, 18 ADP over here. Option D will be the correct answer. Okay. Now, this question you look into assertion. Each molecule of ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate fixes one molecule of carbon dioxide. Okay. Look into the assertion properly. Each molecule of RUBP fixes one carbon dioxide. This we all know. Assertion is true only. 3 molecules of NADPH and 2 ATP are required for fixation of one molecule. Wrong. It is reverse, right? 3 molecules of ATP and 2 molecules of NADPH are required. 3 molecules of ATP and 2 molecules of NADPH are required. So, here what will be the correct answer, ma? Shiva, you tell me, beta. What will be the correct answer? A is correct and R is false. Assertion is true and reason is false. Option C will be the correct answer. Very good, ma. Go with the same flow with the next question. Yes. ATP synthesis linked with one graduate across a membrane in 2. Okay, what membrane is through the transport? Okay, we all know during ATP synthesis what are being transported? Protons, right? H plus ions or protons are being transported. If it is photosynthesis, the transfer of protons is from lumen to the stroma. Okay, it is from lumen to stroma. If it is mitochondria, the transfer of protons is from intermembrane space to mitochondrial matrix. We all know, right? So, the transfer is about protons, not about electrons. So, protons are transported both in the photosynthesis and respiration for ATP synthesis. It is as simple as it is, beta. Next question. Which of the following is true? The protons accumulate towards outer side of the membrane in photosynthesis. No, that is wrong answer. The protons accumulate towards inner side of the lumen of thylakoid during respiration. During respiration, that doesn't go correct with this question. The protons accumulate towards outer side of the membrane of respiration, thylakoid. This is also wrong, right? Last you look into protons accumulate in the intermembrane space in mitochondria during aerobic respiration. This will be the correct answer. Shiva, for which question did you answer, beta? This question right answer will be D, ma. Okay. So, here the proton accumulation and the location of the proton accumulation is asked with respect to photosynthesis and mitochondria. All these questions goes wrong, but this question you see ma, protons accumulate in the intermembrane space in mitochondria during aerobic respiration. This will be the correct answer. This you look into ma. NADP reductase enzyme is located on dash of the thylakoid membrane. Where is it located? Okay, NADP reductase. Fine. So, Z scheme which is operated in the thylakoid membrane, where, okay, Z scheme which is operated in the thylakoid membrane, all the protein carriers which are present for this ETS are in thylakoid membrane itself, but the ultimate or the last electron acceptor of the Z scheme is NADP plus, which is located on the outer side of the thylakoid membrane. Okay, NADP plus, which is the last or ultimate electron acceptor in ETS, that is located on the outer side of the thylakoid membrane, which gets reduced to NADPH plus H plus. Clear ma? This is by the enzyme NADP reductase. This is by the enzyme NADP reductase. Clear nana? Understood, right? So, here you look into NADP reductase enzyme is located on the outer side of the thylakoid membrane. Okay, this is located on the outer side of the thylakoid membrane, means outer side is what nana? Stroma. On the stroma side of the chloroplast. That's it. Clear? So, any question with respect to the location, what you have to do is some cartoon structure like this you have to draw, that makes your answering easy for any question. Okay? This you look into. Yes. Discover the first carbon dioxide fixation product. Kelvin worked on using what? Okay. Melvin Kelvin has worked on the algae, green algae, that is Cladophora, by taking the isotope C14. Okay, so C14 is the isotope and the model organism he has worked is algae, that is Cladophora. So, algae and radioactive isotope of carbon is C14. With that, he has discovered the Kelvin cycle with 3 steps, saying that the primary product formed is 3-phosphoglyceric acid. Clear ma? Look into this question. For a carbon compound to be formed after carbon dioxide fixation, the acceptor molecule is of, okay, to form 3-carbon compound. What is the 3-carbon primary product that is formed after carbon dioxide fixation? Phosphoglyceric acid. If you have to take C4 cycle, the primary product formed is oxaloacetic acid. So, here he has asked a 3-carbon compound, it is phosphoglyceric acid. To form after carbon dioxide fixation, the acceptor is definitely RUBP, which is 5-carbon compound. Just now we have seen, no beta. So, now you look into, so the acceptor is what? 5-carbon compound. Option D is the correct answer. This question you look into. Very good, Shiva. Just look into the questions and keep answering beta. The Kelvin cycle starts with dash, ends with dash. Okay. The Kelvin cycle starts with the RUBP. Okay. The Kelvin cycle starts with what? Acceptor of carbon dioxide, that is RUBP, and it ends with the last step. What is the last step of Kelvin cycle? Regeneration. Regeneration of RUBP. Clear ma? So, with this C will be the correct answer for this question. The most crucial step of Kelvin cycle, just now we have discussed. When the statement is given, the most crucial step of Kelvin cycle, undoubtedly you have to choose carboxylation is the most crucial step. But if the question is like the most crucial step to continue the cycle uninterruptedly, if that is the statement, then you have to go for the option regeneration of RUBP. Clear beta? So, here the most crucial step of Kelvin cycle will be carboxylation. Here you see one numerical based question. Reduction involves use of dash molecules of ATP for fixed 4 carbon dioxide reduction. Okay. So, how many molecules of ATP are utilized to reduce how many? 4 carbon dioxide. When 4 carbon dioxides are fixed, for reduction process only he is asking how much ATP is required. We all know for 1 carbon dioxide, how much ATP is required during reduction beta? It is 2 ATP. Here he is asking 4 carbon dioxide. 4 carbon dioxide, how much ATP is required? So here you have to answer like 4 into 2. It is just 8 ATP. To reduce, when 4 carbon dioxides are fixed in the reduction process, 8 ATP will be used. So in options it is not given, it is 8 ATP. Clear, right beta? Look into this question. For 1 glucose formation, how many NAD molecules are needed in C3 pathway? Definitely NADPH is done only in what step? Reduction step. That he is asking for 1 glucose formation. So how many NAD plus molecules, NADPH you have to say actually, how many are required? 12. That is option B. Okay, 12 NADPH are required for 1 glucose formation in C3 cycle. In C4 cycle also it will be the same, 12 for NADPH. Look into this again, an assertion reason question. Each molecule of ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate, that is RUBP, will fix 1 molecule of carbon dioxide. That is correct, no doubt in it. 3 molecules of NADPH, 2 ATP are required for fixation. Wrong. Okay, it is 2 molecules of NADPH and 3 molecules of ATP are required. I think this question is repeated. It is of course option C. And here you look into, how can you describe Kelvin cycle in one sentence or like in one statement? Kelvin cycle involves what process actually? That involves reductive carboxylation. Okay, because in the very first step, what happens? Carbon dioxide will be fixed and then it is reduced. So what process is happening in the Kelvin cycle? Reductive carboxylation. Carbon dioxide fixation is happening and reduction is also happening. So it is called as reductive carboxylation. Clear ma? That is B. Here you look into dark reactions of photosynthesis occur in. Okay. Dark reaction of photosynthesis, does it occur in granule thylakoid? Wrong. In granule thylakoid only light reactions occur. Okay, light reactions occur. Stromal lamellae also light reactions occur. Stroma outside the photosynthetic lamellae. Thylakoid lamellae also called as photosynthetic lamellae. Outside that, inside stroma. This is correct. Periplastidial space. Wrong. Okay. So, where does dark reactions? Dark reactions include what? C3 or C4 or CAMP. Anything which involves carbon dioxide fixation or formation of glucose, sucrose or sugar molecules happens where? In the stroma of the chloroplast. Clear ma? Look into this question. Statement based question, important. Identify the incorrect statement with respect to Kelvin cycle. Incorrect statement with respect to Kelvin cycle. 18 molecules of ATP are synthesized during carbon dioxide formation. Yes, of course, correct. 18 molecules, sorry, this is wrong, because in light reaction ATP and NADPH are synthesized. In dark reaction ATP and NADPH are utilized. Here ATP is not synthesized. 18 molecules of ATP are utilized. Clear ma? NADPH plus H plus produced in the light reaction is used to reduce diphosphoglycerate. Correct. Yes. The carboxylation of RUBP is catalyzed by Rubisco. True. Next. Option D you see. The first stable intermediate compound formed is phosphoglycerate. Correct. Clear ma? So this is a question on statement based. Let us look into assertion reason type of question here. C3 pathway of carbon dioxide fixation is found in most of the angiosperm plants. True, it is found in most of the angiosperm plants. Assertion is correct only. In reason if you see, in this pathway carbon dioxide is fixed by 5 carbon compound. True, carbon dioxide is fixed in 5 carbon compound, but here in the reason it is no way explaining the assertion on why most of the carbon dioxide fixation is found in angiospermic plants. In that case, what option we have to choose, ma? Both assertion and reason are true, but reason is not the correct explanation of assertion. Clear? In this question, you see, last question, how many statements of this are correct? Fine. The products of dark reaction are substrates of light reaction. Okay, look into that properly. Products of dark reaction are the substrates of light reaction. Wrong. It is different actually. The products of light reaction are substrates of dark reaction. It is the reverse. Second, you look into products of light reaction are substrates of dark reaction. This will be the correct statement. In stroma, enzymatic reactions incorporate carbon dioxide into plant leading to the synthesis of sugar. True. In stroma, enzymatic reactions incorporate carbon dioxide into synthesis of sugar. This is correct. Next, dark reactions are completely light independent. Wrong. They are dependent on the products of light reaction. They are not completely light independent. Chloroplast is single membrane bound. Wrong. So, here completely how many correct statements that we can identify, ma? 1 and 2. 2 correct statements we can identify. So, here we have to opt this option. So, clear? So, this is all about today's questionnaire session. In the next class, we will be dealing with most of the questions including C3 cycle and C4 cycle, and we will also exercise application based and numerical questions. So, stay tuned. Thank you.